Hi there everyone, welcome to Negi Tech. Today I'm super excited as I'm going to make a PC build video after a long time, and this PC is really for those who have a strain in budget. So here we came up with a PC build of Intel Core i5 12th generation that will cost us less than 50,000. So if you have a budget of rupees 50,000 and you are looking for a decent PC build, then for sure you can check out this video. And let's start with our CPU, which is 12th generation Core i5 12400. And the reason why I choose this one, not the 13th generation, is because if we compare the performance, then we will see yes, there is a 10% performance gain, but again we also need to see the price that we are paying. I bought this in Amazon for around 15 and a half. And one last thing I would like to talk about this CPU is it is hexa-core and have a base clock of 2.5 GHz and go up to 4.4 GHz of turbo boost. And when I compare it with 13400, that processor can go up to 4.6. So you can see there is not that much difference. And as I said, you can get this one for 15,000 and 13400 will cost you around 20,000. So you can see how much is the difference in performance. And then I kept this thing in mind that my budget is 50,000. So this is the most expensive part, I would say. Then comes to RAM. And here again we took a very wise decision not to go for DDR5, but rather here we went with DDR4 3200 CL16 memory sticks. And believe me guys, I am using 6000 MHz RAM as well in my 3 lakh rupees build, but I do not see that kind of performance difference. And if I talk about the price, here I have just paid 6,000 rupees for 32 GB. Isn't it amazing guys? So for sure you can go for these Corsair Vengeance high performance LPX DDR4 RAM. And these were pretty costly 1 or 2 years ago. So I would say it is really a good choice. Coming to SSD, here we have got this Samsung NVMe M.2 drive, which is Gen 4, and if I talk about its model number, it is 980 Pro. Again, I did not went for 990, which is over expensive, I would say. So here we went for one of the best value for money Gen 4 NVMe SSD that is available in the market. And if I talk about its read and write, then it is around 6,000 to 7,000 read and write. And if I talk about its endurance rating, then it obviously depends on the capacity that you are buying. So if you are going for 1 TB of version as we went for, so this one have an endurance rating of 600 TB. Now let me keep them aside and now let's talk about the board. So here we went for this Pro B760M. Although this board is specifically for 13th generation, but it also supports 12th generation. And the reason I went for this board because of improved memory controller in case of 13th generation. And obviously this one is more matured board when we compare with 12th generation, as this one is a minor improvement over 12th gen. And this one cost me under 10,000, I would say. And if I show you, this one is not ATX but micro ATX. And let me quickly open it. So here you will see, as I said, this is micro ATX. So generally in micro ATX form factor, we see 2 RAM slots instead of 4. And since this one is the basic one but comes with all necessary bells and whistles, I would say, it only comes with 1 M.2 slot, and here it is. Then obviously this is LGA 1700, which supports Intel 12th and 13th generation. So that's a quick update about this board. Let's say you also would like to add RGB, then this board have RGB support. The only limitation I see here in this board is it only comes with HDMI and VGA port. There is no display port available. And generally nowadays the monitor comes with 160-180 Hz of refresh rate And since with this kind of tight budget, I'm not going to use graphic card. So at max, this board only can support up to 120 Hz of refresh rate, which I would say is slight setback for me, since most of my monitor can support higher refresh rate than that. For keyboard, here you can see I went for this simple Dell keyboard, which cost me around 500 rupees. So nothing special about this keyboard, just I prefer low profile keyboard, so that's why I went for it. You can choose any one based on your preference, but I would suggest you go with the branded ones such as Logitech. We also have included UPS in this configuration, as the place where I live, we see random power cuts. So saving our work, saving our system because of electricity fluctuation is very important, guys, especially when you are using your system for something very important. Sudden power cut or failure may cause trouble in your system. So here we went for this tiny APC UPS, which is of 600 VA or around 360 watt. But if I see my entire configuration, which does not include graphic card, I would say this tiny UPS is sufficient to power them all. Coming to the last part, which is cabinet. And guys, you may also think, I haven't covered power supply. So this case from Corsair, which is Spec 5, comes with integrated power supply. And it is really not that bad if you are thinking or imagining the cheap power supply. No. Here with this case, we got 650 watt of power supply that is bronze certified. And this cost me again around 6,000 rupees. So I would say it was really a great value for money, as we are getting a very good quality case as well as a good quality of power supply. Buying them separately surely would have cost me more than this amount. So now let's quickly start our assembly. Okay, so this is the case I was talking about, and because this was heavy, so I quickly unbox it and place it here. And let me actually open it up. So this is not real tempered, this one is acrylic, but I would say is of good quality. And you will also receive an Allen key to open this. But this seems slightly loose, so I can also open it with my hands. So now let me quickly keep it aside, and as I was saying, this is acrylic. So in a way, you do not need to worry about if this shatters and got broke. And there we go. Here we can see 16 amp power cord, which I really hate, guys, because all our household sockets are 6 amp. So again, I need to buy 6 to 16 amp converter. And here we go. Here we can see this is our power supply, which I was talking about, and comes integrated with this case. This is CV650, which represent the wattage, and everything here is zip tied. Now I need to actually cut this zip tie so that I can utilize it. But before that, let me actually keep it aside and let's start assembling our CPU and motherboard. Now I'm gonna keep this anti-static polythene below so that my component remains safe. And this is my CPU. So let's unbox it. And the good thing about this CPU, it comes with stock fan. So you do not need to buy a separate fan for your CPU. And let me quickly unbox it, and you can see the seal here. So this is the CPU. Let's now look at this fan, and the typical fan from Intel. And actually I was looking for this thermal paste, and it was already implemented or applied over it. So we do not require separate thermal paste, I would say. So it looks like this. Let me keep it in this way. This will make sure that we are not touching the thermal paste. Now let's quickly open the CPU and hold it like this. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open this, and then okay, so here is our CPU, and you need to look for this triangle mark, as you can see here. I hope now it is visible. And then you need to align this triangle mark with this triangle that you can see. So this triangle will match another triangle. And now let me quickly lift it up, and you do not need to touch these pins, and just place your CPU like this, and there we go. So that's easy actually, is to assemble CPU inside motherboard. Time now came to assemble the RAM. So let me quickly open it. While installing the RAM, you need to keep this slot in mind. So simply keep this RAM over the RAM slot and see if both this slot and this rib align or not. So if it aligns, then it's fine, else you need to rotate this and then try to insert it. So we can see the clear difference of this rib and then this slot here, so which shows that this is not the correct direction. The correct direction will be this one. And then here simply align it to the edge, and then you need to apply slight pressure such that it clicks in. Similarly we're gonna do with second stick. Time now came to install this SSD. So let me open it up. Now let me have a look if there is any kind of screw is available for assembling this M.2 SSD. So motherboard came with this box as well. Here are some zip ties to tie the wiring. Here this could be for M.2. Let me keep it aside, and I also need to find which one will work with it. Okay, so this one is not working. Okay, so these are the screws that we can also use to tie this NVMe drive. Although generally we see with expensive setups that it remain parallel. For that actually we can also use this. I do not understand why they did not provide it. I mean, the motherboard company did not provide it with it. So I just used this, which was again available with the kit of this motherboard. Now I can use this, and then I can use the same screw. Let me slightly tighten this up. Now this SSD is quite firm, and I do not need to worry about. Now we have installed RAM, we have installed SSD. Time now came to install fan. So here is our stock fan. So unfortunately this fan does not come with any kind of backplate, and you can see also here. So maybe this fan is Intel Laminar RM1, which does not comes with any kind of support plate. So we simply need to assemble it like this, as we might have seen it, and then we simply need to fix it. The same I'm gonna do here. And I'm going to assemble this fan in that direction where I will find this wiring harness in close proximity to the CPU fan connection. Okay, so this is CPU fan connection. As we can see here, it says CPU fan 1. Now let me make the direction of this fan like this, so that I do not need to rotate it. Now let me place it here, and then thermal paste is already added, as I was saying. We just need to put it like this, and then we need to apply some pressure, and you will hear the click sound. You need to make sure that these are locked. So I'm going to rotate it to tighten it further. Now in this way guys, we have successfully assembled the fan, and let's put now this CPU fan connection. Just need to make sure that you are inserting this in correct direction. So here I can see the guide, and here as well. Therefore I'm going to connect it like this. Now our motherboard is ready to place inside cabinet. Okay, so now I have placed my cabinet here, and let me also quickly cut the zip tie, as I need to check the wires. After cutting the zip tie, let me quickly have a look. Maybe not everything is needed here. Now let me actually open the other side so that I can quickly take everything this side to make a very clean wire routing. Now here I do not need any SATA for the time being. Let me take this out. This one again is SATA and power connector, and this is CPU power, which is 2x4 configuration, which is great. This one is for your GPU, since we are not using it, so we again need to keep it tied somewhere. Let me show you the wires that are available. This one is our ATX power, and now here you can see the entire harness I routed outside, and now from the back end side it looks like this. And as I said, I'm not gonna use these, so I can actually tie them somewhere. Now let's try to place our motherboard here, but I will not assemble it because I also need to see how the wire is being routed. So let me pick my board like this, and now let me position it toward this side because these things will be toward this. So let me keep it like this. And I also found in my motherboard the actual M.2 screw. So I'm gonna remove the previous one, although this also worked pretty fine, I would say, but let's use the dedicated one. So this one will go inside your motherboard, and this screw is really tiny, so you need to be very careful while assembling it. Okay, so now this looks more clean. Now I'm gonna put this steel template here. Now let me lift my motherboard and place it like this. Okay, we have just previewed how we're going to keep this motherboard. Now let me lift it off, and then I need to also change some screws. As I can see here, we will be placing 2 screws here to support. Now I'm gonna route some of my wiring harness component, for example ATX, to here so that it reach to the ATX supply. Similarly, I'm going to do it for my CPU, as I found that the CPU connector is here. So I'm gonna route both of these wires here and here. So let me again lift it off. Okay, so I bring this wire here and this wire here so that we can route. Now I have routed these cables, and now I'm going to finally assemble my motherboard inside this cabinet. Now let me again place this steel sheet based on the way it needs to be here, and finally my motherboard. Okay, so here as you can see, I do not want it to make this video monotonous, so I have tightened all the screws. While placing the motherboard, just you need to take care of this hole, as every cabinet have got this kind of protrusion which help you to align your motherboard inside cabinet. Now the time came for me to plug these routed cables here in. And here I can see the clip which will go here. Now let me quickly place it in, and there we go. In this way we have successfully connected the ATX power supply. The second thing is CPU connection. So I can actually connect my CPU through CPU power supply like this, and again I need to see the direction of this lock, which is toward this side inside, so I'm gonna place it like this. So in this way guys, we have connected CPU power supply, we also have connected ATX supply, which you can see here, and we also have connected CPU fan supply that you can see it here. Now we need to connect some USB. This is USB 3.0, and the switches that you see generally with cabinet. Let me quickly open this one now. Okay, so this one is, I guess, USB 3 as I was saying, and then there is this kind of Pokayoka. This will avoid this connector getting connected or getting installed in wrong direction. So I can see it, the direction is like this, so I'm gonna now insert it here, and there we go. Just clicked this one in. Time now came to plug the power button connection and reset function connection, as well as these indicator connection, which are power LED, this audio cable as well. So just we need to find it where we need to place what. So this audio connection is here. I can see J audio written there, and then I can also identify the way these poles are. So we can see this one is void, or I would say completely filled instead of void, and then the direction by seeing this configuration should be like this. So let me place it here. And in this way we have connected the audio connection. Okay, time now came for this last connection. Okay, so the last connection that I was talking about that we need to do is of these cables. And then how we need to do it, with every motherboard you will find guide, and here we can see the thing that I need to check for is JFP1. So JFP1 is basically this one, and I can also see it is actually being placed like this here, which is 4 pins upside and then 5 pins downside. So I'm gonna do the same, and then I can also see the direction of power switch will be like this, and power switch do not have any plus or minus, so I can simply connect it like this. After that we have power LED, and in case of power LED, here we can see the clear instruction which shows that the negative will be the right hand side and the positive one will be the left hand side. So let me do the same, and here we go. Here we can see these are power LED. Now the negative one, I'm gonna assemble it inside or left side, and there we go. The last connection now got left is of HDD and reset switch. Since there is no hard disk drive, so I'm gonna make this reset switch connection, which is just after power switch. And then again here I can see there is no plus minus, so I can place it the way I want. And there we go. We now have made all the connections with motherboard, cabinet and other peripherals. Now let me actually see if anything got left, and yes, there is one connection that still we need to establish, which is with this fan. So for that, let me actually rotate it like this, and then here we go. So this is system fan. So let me actually open it up, and I really like the routing that is already being done, and why don't I use it? Maybe I can push this connector inside here, and then from here I can also, take it here inside, and now I'm gonna connect it here. Okay, finally we have made all the connections. Time now came to make this look slightly clean, even from the back side as well as from the front side. Clean routing enables you to help detect any kind of issues. So let me actually take these wires backside, and there we go. Now let me tie all these remaining wires. or maybe I can place them here. And then I can actually place it here. So this is the final look from this side, and now I'm gonna close this. Okay, now I will be connecting this HDMI and I will connect this PC to this monitor. For that, let me actually rotate it a little bit, and now let's add it here. Now for power, I'm using this cable. Now power is connected and display cable is connected. Now let me rotate it. And let me press the power button, which is here for the first time. And there we go. You can see the CPU start running, the main fan also start running, and here we may see something coming in. It shows that CPU or memory change. It's fine. Let's press F1 to run setup. Now I will also have to connect a keyboard so that I can perform some settings. Now I'm connecting keyboard as well as mouse. So my keyboard and mouse is working perfectly fine, and here I can see the RAM is also getting detected, and let me click on memory. Here I can see it is total of 32 gigabyte, and it should also have XMP, which here it is, and we should able to run it at higher clock rate, as this RAM is of 3200 megahertz. So let's change its clock rate. In order to enable RAM clock rate, what we need to do is we need to click here on XMP profile and click on advanced on the top, and then you will see the setting. Just go to OC setting, and then here just go down and you will see this XMP profile enable. Just enable it, and now press F10 and then click yes. Again, we will be booting back to BIOS since we haven't installed any OS yet. So let me again press delete, or it will automatically come to BIOS, and this time we should see that our RAM is now running at a clock of 3200 megahertz. And there we go. Here we can see our RAM is now running at 3200 megahertz, and we can see our CPU is also running at its base clock now, which is 2.5 gigahertz that we spoke about in starting of this video, and everything look fine. I can see my CPU fan speed, system fan speed as well, and everything seems working fine. Now let's do the last thing. For that, let me actually shut it down for a while. Now I'm gonna add the last part here, which is my tempered glass, which shows that we have successfully completed the assembly of this system, which costed us less than 50,000. Okay, now let's place it here. I really like these rubber locks or guides, I would say. They're going to place, guide and align this acrylic sheet perfectly here. Now let me quickly tighten it with the screw that it came with, and now we can actually screw it using our hand, or you can use Allen key that came with it. Both way it is perfectly fine. Okay, so that's all guys from my side in this video. I hope that you really enjoyed this 50,000 rupees PC build. And if you also want to go for this i5 12th generation version, which is paired with 32 GB of DDR4 RAM, and not only the simple one but high performance DDR4 RAM, then I'm gonna put all the link in the description of this video. From there you can buy all these components. I hope that you like it. If yes, then don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more such content. and I will see you soon in my next video. Till then, you take care and bye bye.